And as they say, whatever you're looking for, it's right here in Mzansi. You don't need to go anywhere else. Now, our special guest today is a man who has led an extraordinary life as the anchor of South Africa's most watched and loved lifestyle TV show. The experiences he's had, the places he's seen, the people he's spoken to, one can only dream of such a charmed life. And indeed, many do dream of this, as thousands of hopefuls have made their way to audition polls to become the next top-billing presenter. So who better to tell us about the top-billing experience than Mr. Michael Mol himself? Great to have you here, mate.
Kat, always good to be back, mate. Special, charmed. I'm liking those words, mate.
Yeah, I've kind of, I've learned a few lessons from you in my time. But I want to talk a bit about your experience, because you've had some crazy, crazy times being on Top
What a
Billing.
privilege. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Tell me about the time you went, was it crocodile cage diving?
Yeah, I mean, we've all done shark, well, not all, but a lot of people have done shark cage diving. Yeah. But crocodile cage diving and oat-swim, fascinating. I mean, this was a first for me. Go down in a cage, and I'll never forget being this close to this man-eater. I mean, his eye, it was literally, it was like, right here, just going past. And he wouldn't do anything. He sort of just slowly sort of swam past, and we were trying to get some kind of reaction out of this crocodile. So I put my hand out the cage and sort of slapped in front of the crocodile's nose to try and get him to do something. And then realised what I was doing. I mean, these things move like this,
exactly.
And suddenly, no hand, which is Captain Hook, there you go. But fascinating, no,
you get briefed on safety, I assume, before you do these things, because otherwise you wouldn't be reaching out and slapping crocodiles on their noses.
I got a bit of a hard time after that from the guy. What were you thinking? You
got to work with the situation, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think the one thing that I definitely want to experience is the running of the bulls.
Ah, Pamplona, the Festival of San Fermin. You're so right.
That is so crazy. Did you get a bit of a spike up one butt cheek, maybe? No?
This close. This close. I mean, it's a crazy thing. You're there with thousands of people dressed in white with red scarves.
Yeah.
And what happens is they set these bulls free that haven't literally had any contact with human beings. These mad, crazy, raging bulls. They've got 868 meters to run from one side of the town to the other on cobblestone streets, so it's slippery and it's all over the place. And once this rocket goes off, you go, And we got to kind of get to the bull ring before the bulls do without being skewered by one of their horns.
Oh, my
word. I kid you not, it was terrifying. I mean, actually, I was really, really scared.
Yeah.
And at any point on the run, you can sort of escape and get through these barriers if you need to, although if there aren't any bulls near to you, the crowd just push you back in again. But at one point in the run, you go through what they call the tunnel of death.
The tunnel of death.
Yeah, because there's no escape. There's cement sort of bottom, top, and sides.
Oh.
And as we ran into that tunnel, and keep in mind, I've got a cameraman behind me filming this. We're hearing these cows right on our shoulders. There's these silly bells going dung, dung, dung. And as we get into this tunnel, I'm panicking. My eyes are white from like fear. I don't want to die. I've just heard I'm going to be a father, all this kind of stuff. And as I do, I go in, this guy in front of me goes down.
Wow.
Okay? I mean, I don't know what you do, but he falls in front of me. And so I did what I think most people would do. I stood on him, man, just whoosh, and just launched right over him. And got to freedom and safety, and kind of dashed into the corner of the ring, and these bulls just came running past. Felt terrible afterwards, but it turns out, to appease my conscience, it was the best thing to do, because if you do go down, the best thing to do is to stay down. Better to be trampled by a hoof than skewered by a horn as you try to stand up. Indeed. So I saved his life.
Dude, that is crazy. But how do you compose yourself to even do a link in these crazy situations? You're running down and, you've planned your shot with your cameraman, and at some point you got to stop and be like, this is crazy, and thousands of bulls charging. How do you...
No, there was too much fear. There was no link there. It was just like, run! In fact, I pretty much left the cameraman to his own devices. Every man for yourself. In fact, the funniest thing was we're in the bull ring and you're not allowed to have a camera on the run.
Yeah.
So we smuggled a little camera in and we were kind of filming it sort of surreptitiously. And next thing, I'm busy, they had set a small bull free in the whole bull ring, and they kind of scare people with. He's got little cork stoppers on his horns. And then I'd hear, Mike! And I turn around just in time to see this massive female security guard grab my cameraman and haul him over the barriers. Just, there goes the camera, there goes the cameraman. It was fantastic.
And they thought the bulls were dangerous. And you've also taken to the skies. You've walked on wings of airplanes.
Oh, yeah. Walking on a biplane, the wings of a biplane. That was probably one of the most amazing experiences. In Port Elizabeth, getting one of these massive, they're called Stearmans, this huge biplane. And actually, you're standing on top of this wing with a little kind of belt around your waist on some sandpaper. I mean, that's all it is. There's no sort of strapping, no sort of safety. Well, there was a safety hatch, I think, a little thin little cable.
That is madness. Look at that.
And it wasn't just flying. I mean, you were doing barrel rolls. It was just... And at one point, he kind of flew upside down, and he had to stay upside down so our cameraman could kind of get him shot and catch the shot. And he's busy yelling on the mic, I gotta go, I gotta turn right, he's gonna fall. I'm thinking, So it was one of those most amazing experiences. And then you think it's all over and you kind of come into land and all of a sudden then you panic because this massive propeller in front of you is whipping around, and this runway was really just a grassy patch, you know, with knolls everywhere. So you just think if he just has to nosedive, I'm finished, you know. So it's very relieved to kind
But dude, all well worth it. I mean, an amazing experience, an amazing life to have led, to have seen all of these things, experienced all of these things.
Yeah, well, you said privilege, man, to have seen what toppling has allowed us to see is just fantastic. So as far as the toppling dream is concerned, I fully buy into it and understand that. You know, the awesome privilege of being able to see the world the way we have. And not just see the world, but see it on a red carpet. You know, when you take out a camera, people literally open doors for you and say, hey, tell us your story. We want to hear about what you've experienced.
Wow. Dude, thank you very much for sharing your story with us. I'm always inspired when I hear about what you've done. And indeed, we all dream, as I said, and thousands out there dream of living the life that you have. Thank you very much for coming in today.
Anytime.
Really appreciate it. We're going to get to a quick ad break. We'll be right back with more Tuesday Madness here on Expresso.
Stay with Expresso and SABC3.